Hi, welcome back to Job Opportunity, and today we have Mr. Sam Lai, who is a software engineer. Mr. Lai, how are you today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well as well. Today we are asking him a few questions about his job. To start off, can you briefly explain your profession as a software engineer?
I'm a software engineer, and what that means is I have a few coding languages that I can write and create applications in. In my company, we use C# and C++. And basically, we're just creating the software that goes into different products. So our company works with a lot of manufacturing, machinery and whatnot. So we write the software that goes into that.
Did you always want to become a software engineer growing up, or was it something that just really happened?
I definitely didn't think about it growing up. It really wasn't until college that I started thinking about it. Yeah, back when I was in college, I went in as an undecided major, and then I ended up getting a degree in Earth System Science, which is like environmental science. As I was finishing up that degree, I took a class in coding for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. And that actually influenced me to, instead of pursuing a career in earth science, I went into the tech field after I graduated.
And how long did it take to grow your career in the beginning, and how are you still struggling and just working through your career right now?
Computer science is something that you don't necessarily need a college degree in. If you can create applications and throw them onto GitHub, and they're quality applications, that might be enough to get you an interview. Typically, you'll get a lot more responses if you're coming from a 4-year degree, a Bachelor of Science, something like that. I ended up going back to school to get a bachelor's in computer science. That was about a 2-year process, since all I had to do was take the computer science specific courses. I already had a college degree at that point. So after I got the degree, it was just building my portfolio, making sure that my resume was enough to get through HR.
Do you think that when you're coding, do you really express your creativity in it, or is it a really black and white job where you just type in code?
There's definitely a lot of leeway when you're coding. More so in game dev than in other aspects of it, and maybe front end too. Since you're designing stuff, or you have a little bit of liberty there. But even as a applications engineer, even if you're working with back end stuff or desktop apps, and you're writing the engine for stuff, you still have control in the sense that you're kind of architecting this software, right? You're every little decision matters, and when you're creating something, you have to decide how to build it from the ground up. And that process, there's a million ways to do the same thing, and no one way is the right way. There's better ways, there's worse ways, but there's no right way. So it's really up to you to figure out what the right way is for your software, or what the best way or what the better way is for your software, for your use case. So in that sense, there's that creativity aspect to it.
Talking about building from the ground up, what do you think has in technology nowadays? I know everything's progressing, everything's getting more automated. What do you think has the biggest potential to grow?
Of course, there's artificial intelligence and machine learning and all that. And right now, people are just slapping artificial intelligence on whatever they can to see if it makes it better. And it's kind of like what happened in the early 2000s with the dot-com boom, right? People are just throwing things at, throwing this new technology at every industry, basically, and they're just seeing what sticks. Machine learning and artificial intelligence is huge. One thing that I'm pretty interested in is computer vision. So the idea that your devices will have an understanding of the physical world, right? That's how Tesla is kind of creating their autopilot software. That's how augmented reality works. Yeah, so computer vision is definitely something that I see changing the face of technology, changing how we interact with technology.
So yeah, I definitely think technology has grown a lot more in the past decade or so. It's infinitely grown, and I think it's like an endless amount of possibilities. Let's talk about more your day-to-day basis. What do you think is an ordinary day look like for you?
Yeah, so I wake up. My workday starts at 9, and then every day we have what's called a stand-up meeting, and basically you just kind of go down the list of what you're working on. So the way it works in certain software engineering environments is you have this kind of task list, right? Like there's a bunch of work items that need to happen and everyone on the team is working on something, right? So we go down the list and we talk about what we're working on, how it's going, what we need help with, and how long it'll take us. So yeah, that usually takes like 10 to 15 minutes to go through for the entire team. And that's like an everyday thing. Yeah, once the stand-up meeting's done, just start to code and figure out what needs to be done. Yeah, depending on the work item, depending on the complexity. It's really flexible as a software engineer. Like if I'm stuck in a rut, if I don't know what to do, like I have the freedom to kind of step away for a little bit, take a break, take a breather, and just kind of reset my mind. It's not something that you need to be glued to a desk for. Like I'll go to a coffee shop every now and then, or just like walk around and think about what I need to do. Once I like clear my head, I can get back and start plugging along. So
Talking about hitting the rut, what do you think is the toughest part about your job?
you have to constantly be learning. And that's not necessarily a tough thing, but it can be tiring. That's just the nature of working in the tech industry. You know, if you are a programmer, if you're a coder, software engineer, you're always going to be just looking out for what's coming up, what's new.
And last question here is, what do you love the most about your job?
I think getting excited about the technology, that's what I look forward to. So what we work with is precision measuring tools, right? So basically we're scanning objects and getting accurate measurements from them. And part of what we do is controlling a machine that's larger than a car to take precision level measurements at the micron level. So this is like 10 times thinner than the width of a hair. Our products are used to manufacture spacecrafts and jet engines and aircrafts and stuff like that. So just getting excited about the technology, I'd say that's the most rewarding part of it.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Lai. Do you have any last words for those high schoolers out there who need an idea on what to pursue in life?
Yeah, just try as much as you can, research as much as you can about anything that you're interested in. I personally will always recommend computer science just because there's so many different applications out there. You know, you can go into pretty much everything nowadays needs software, right? So, to some extent, your refrigerator needs software, right? Your television needs software, your thermostat needs software, and that's not going to change. And if anything, you know, more and more things are going to need software in them. So, you know, if you're at all interested in computer science, there's definitely a way to kind of link your career with your hobby, especially in an industry like computer science. And